Hello and welcome to anyone who's watching this video. A couple of weeks ago I posted a video on fixing a Spokeshave and why many of them didn't work very well based on this type and how you could improve it. And during that video I was talking about the possibilities of maybe buying a Lee Nielsen or a Veritas one, because supposedly they'd be better and they'd work straight out the box. At that time I didn't have a Veritas one, which is the reason for this video, because since that video I've managed to pick a second-hand one up at the right price and I've had a chance to use it, so it's more to do with how that relates to everything else. So this one is a Chinese one, which is a similar design to the Lee Nielsen, and it works fine. I personally like this type of Spokeshave without the adjusters on and just the two clamping pins on. It seems to work well. The blade's held securely and they work well. Just on the point of that, I know that some people view those as being a copy of a Lee Nielsen, and they may well be. But there's one here, this is an older one, that is basically the same design, and this was made long before. It's got no branding on it. It was made long before Lee Nielsen made tools. So I've put a Stanley blade in that one, but they're really just variations of a design that's been around a long time. So given that that is the same as a Lee Nielsen and works fine, I don't have the money to buy a Lee Nielsen, but I'm presuming they would work as well or better than that. So that's that covered. Now over to the Veritas, which is mainly what it's about. This doesn't work any better than one of these that is well sorted. That's all I really wanted to say. If anybody's thinking of that, if they buy one of these, it's going to be easier to use or trouble-free, it's not strictly true. One of these that's been sorted, which my previous videos on, there is really nothing between them when one of these is working right. So we'll have a quick look at the Veritas. And when I nearly didn't buy it because I bought it off an auction site from photographs, and I was looking at, I don't know whether you can see that, but I was looking at these corners here, the way they're kind of rounded out, and I thought that someone had been messing with it and that they'd adapted it in some way. But it's apparent that that's how they're made. The other unusual feature of it is that it has a curved front edge. Nearly all Spokeshaves have a straight front edge, whether they're a curved or a flat Spokeshave, the front edge is straight on them. So that is something that appears to me to be unique to the Veritas. I have seen pictures of old Veritas curved ones and they have a straight front on them, so I might be wrong, but I think that's been done more recently. So personally, I don't like this cut out like that, and I don't like the curved front bed. I'd preferred it was straight, but this is just my own personal view on it. I would rather it was cut out square like that one, with a square front edge on it. I know that, well, these are about £45, and the Lee Nielsen ones are £230, I think, in the UK, and these are, I've seen them for about 120. But it's purely, this video is purely to let you know what you're getting, really. The other thing that I'm a bit unsure about myself is that in order to clip the mouths on these two, the distance, I'm struggling a bit here, the distance about from there to there is much the same size, but the mouth on this one is tight. The blades are much the same thickness, but when this one, it has some plastic shims in, you can just see it poking through there, that close the mouth to be closer to what this one is out the box. So I don't know, to me it just seems a very strange thing to do. So you have this, and you put these plastic shims in to close the mouth. Now it works a lot better, it doesn't chatter as much with the shims in because the mouth is tighter. But to me, putting a couple of bits of plastic in to close the mouth on a Spokeshave, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems an odd thing to do. I just don't understand why it wasn't machined tighter. I don't know why they give you these bits of plastic, why it just wasn't machined tight in the first place. You might say that it's, so you've got some, you could adjust it kind of thing, so you can have the mouth a bit more open if you wanted to take heavy cuts off, but I mean, I personally don't take heavy cuts with a Spokeshave anyway. If you were going to do this, then maybe some metal shims. The other thing is that the way it's machined, this front edge where the clamp sits, and these tiny little bits on the side here, so the blade sits on those bits, those 4 pieces. Well, when you put these in, they don't touch these side pieces, they go in between them. So with those in, it's not touching those sides at all, which I just find, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Also, when the shims are in, although they're only very small, they do make a difference. I don't know what thickness you'd say they are, but they're only the thickness of a good piece of paper. 2 different thicknesses, but I put them both in, and I found it worked best with them both in, for me personally. But when they're in and the blade's in, there isn't a lot of adjuster showing, and my old hands are failing me now a bit, and that's nearly flush with the top of there when the plastic's in. With the plastic in, it makes it, without the plastic in, it adjusts really nicely and smoothly, but with the plastic in, there's hardly any knurling showing there, and it doesn't move as well. It's like, I suppose this is acting as a gasket and it's causing it to kind of drag. I'd have liked to have seen less of a flat ground end to the back of there. There's probably a millimetre there, that could have been brought more to a point and just taken the arris off it. Would have helped to close the mouth up, which would have it cut smoother with a smaller mouth. So this is just my view on this Spokeshave, and I'm just so that people know what they're buying and what to expect possibly. It is £100 cheaper than a Lee Nielsen, but I think these pieces here, where this radius is, this piece and this here and there, I think it's just basically a dodge so they didn't have to machine a square corner in. That's my personal opinion. It was done like that so that they wouldn't have to machine a tight corner, which is more difficult to do. So that's my view on it. Hopefully it gives you an insight into that tool. I would say it's not the best Spokeshave I've ever used. It's certainly not the worst. I would say it was about a middle of the road. I don't think it works any better than a cast one that's been well sorted, and it doesn't work as well as one that's that design. So I just wanted to share that. Anybody who's thinking of buying one, so it gives them a look at it and perhaps a better idea of what they're buying and whether it serves the purpose they need it for. So thank you for watching and take care.